All right, y'all. So Gavin Newsom, as you all know, has been fucking up a lot lately. And look, it's a shame. He had a moment there in the sun for a brief second when that Gavin Newsom press office account was going hard on Twitter because, as I said a million times, I'd vote for that person. Whoever runs the Gavin Newsom press office account, you run for office, you'll get my support, okay? Because they keep it real. They're fucking amazing. I think I forget her name, but there's a woman who runs it, and she does a phenomenal job. Now, so he was getting a lot of positive press, and interest in him skyrocketed when that account first took off, okay? But since then, he's been shooting himself in the dick. He just has. Because, so here's his main problem. He's trying to do both things at once. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. He's trying to be like, I'm the biggest fighter of MAGA. I'm not going to take any of their bullshit. I'm here to, fix everything. He does that half the time, and the other half the time he goes, oh gosh golly, I want to negotiate and compromise and be bipartisan and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and work with MAGA and work with the right and be the reasonable one, do the middle ground thing. It's like, bro, those things, they contradict themselves, okay? You can't do that. You can't be like, I'm the fighter, but also let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I don't want to fight you anymore. What? That's not how it works, okay? So, and then on top of it, he also, of course, has issues with, corruption and taking corporate money and all that stuff. So, the issues, of course, that have been prominent lately is everybody realized, oh shit, Gavin Newsom is trying to kill a billionaire tax in California. To me, that's devastating. That's like strike one, you're out. I don't need a 2 or 3 because what the Democratic candidate in 2028 needs to know is the billionaires, the fascists, and the warmongers are the enemy. They are the enemy, okay? MAGA has their enemies, trans people, immigrants, etc. Our enemy is the billionaires, the fascists, and the warmongers, okay? And so for him to snuggle up to the billionaires, I'm sorry, I can't have it. I can't have it. And look, I genuinely think we're going to do better than Gavin Newsom because he's doing shit like this. He also, as you all know, we covered it back when it happened on the show, he effectively blocked a universal healthcare bill in California by letting the clock run out on it. Okay, you can go watch the reporting we did at the time to get more specifics on it. But he basically killed it. And I'm sure there were donations involved from the health insurance companies to get us to that point, okay? He also said Gaza isn't a genocide to Ben Shapiro's face. That's also sorry, strike one, you're out. That's insane to say that. In the year 2026, bro, we have it fucking live streamed. The things we've seen, I will never forget some of the things we've seen in Gaza. And you say it's not a genocide? He also snuggled up to a bunch of right-wingers, having Sloppy Steve on the podcast to slap him around, having Charlie Kirk on the podcast to slap him around, having Michael Savage, who's one of the worst right-wingers, and he's been for decades on the podcast to slap him around. He also threw his own press account under the bus when he said ICE aren't terrorists, okay? He's got problems. Well, guess what? He's still somehow finding a way, y'all. He's in the hole, he's digging it deeper. He's in the hole, he's digging it deeper. So take a look at this. This video sort of took off. He talks here about trans people. This is what he's alluding to here. He's talking about trans people. Listen to what he says.
The Democratic Party needs to be, dare I say, more culturally normal. I believe that. Less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, politics.
We're not doing, the right does that. Republicans do that. Why are you going after your own people? You say we have to be more culturally normal. We are the ones who are more culturally normal. We're not the ones who are out there saying there's litter boxes in elementary school classes so kids who identify as cats can take a shit in class. We're not saying that. Republicans are saying that. They're the ones who are like, let me see your genitals before you go to the bathroom. I get to check now because that's the law in this red state. We're not the ones doing that. They're the ones doing that. We are the normal ones. If you're in favor of gay marriage, you're normal. If you're in favor of trans rights and trans equality, you're normal. Why are you giving in to bullshit right-wing framing? That's what this is. You're giving into bullshit right-wing framing. The right talks about trans people way more than anybody on the left does. And by the way, they're also trying to take away trans rights, trying to make their lives more difficult. But he frames it as if to be more culturally normal is to be right-wing. No, stop it. Stop with this nonsense. We're not fucking doing this. We're not doing this. Lose one election and Democrats are like, how do I rework absolutely everything I'm supposed to believe in and become a Republican? That's basically what this is. Jesus Christ.
Less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, politics. More focused on tabletop issues, things that really matter, the stacking of stress in terms of electricity bills and child care costs and health care and obviously housing costs.
By the way, let me just point out, when you bring up those issues, the reason why Democrats have to defend marginalized community is exactly because of those kitchen table issues. It's not easy living as a trans person when half the fucking country wants to see you die or not exist, when they're trying to block you from getting the basic health care that you need, okay? It is about, hey, can I earn a living wage? Can I afford to have a roof over my head? It's kind of hard to hold down a job when so many people are transphobic and they look at you like a fucking freak, right? And so that's the point, is you're making it seem like, oh, these are different things. They're not different things. It's all interconnected, bro. It's all interconnected. And like I said, we are the normal ones. The non-normal ones are the trans haters. They're the non-normal ones. Why are you so obsessed with hating trans people? Like, what's the point? Do you have your own unresolved issues that you're not comfortable with? It's like all like the gay haters who secretly want to be blowing a dude in a New Jersey Turnpike bathroom, who get caught, doing crystal meth off of gay hookers' ass cheeks, okay? Like, you're not fooling anybody, bro, but like these things are linked, and he's acting like they're not linked.
Things that really matter, the stacking of stress in terms of electricity bills and childcare costs and health care and obviously housing costs, and how easily we get trapped in that, how I've fallen prey to that. I mean, here I was, way out front on marriage equality, so I understand this.
Wait, are you saying that's bad? Being way out front on marriage equality was, you were the fastest to being normal. It is normal to say, hey, who cares? Let gay people be just like everybody else, have the exact same rights as everybody else. That's normal. So I don't understand why he brings that up. Like, that's an example of him actually doing the opposite. That's an example of him, like, leading the way and defending marginalized communities. If you're going to throw trans people under the bus and say, hey, never mention them, never defend them, well, that's the opposite. Oh my God, what's going on here, man?
Easily we get trapped in that, how I've fallen prey to that. I mean, here I was, way out front on marriage equality, so I understand this.
I don't know why he brings that up when, like, if you were way out in front on marriage equality, that's good. You're arguing for the opposite perspective now, like, give in to the bad faith right-wing framing. Okay, maybe he is saying what that. Maybe he's saying, like, I've been leading on this in the past, so you could take my word for it when I say don't do it now, like, put these things on the back burner. Bro, I'm so fucking done. By the way, so this is funny. When I was prepping for this segment and I saw this video and I was like, I'm going to cover this, I decided to scroll down and look at some of the replies. This is funny because one of the replies, somebody sent to him my post, but they happened to cut off my name, so sort of fuck that person for that. Like, I tweeted this and they just cut my name off. But anyway, what I said was, Kamala didn't mention, when she ran, Kamala didn't mention race, gender, trans people, pronouns, Latinx, cancel culture, or political correctness. So what are you talking about that we need to be more culturally normal? She did the thing that you said she should do. Why are you pretending like she didn't do that? Like she was out there all the time like, I only want to talk about trans things today, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't talk about that shit at all, okay? So that's the first point. Second point is, Kamala did mention patriotism, freedom, owning a gun, representing all Americans, cracking down on the border. She pivoted to Trump's right on the border. So as I said after the election, anybody who tells you she was too woke is just fucking lying to you and caving into a bullshit far-right framing. And that's exactly what Gavin Newsom is doing here. I'm sorry, Gavin. This is not what we're doing anymore. Not in 2026. We're not doing this shit anymore. We're not tucking our tail between our legs and running away. MAGA, I guess you're right about this issue and that issue. Why is it? Anytime Republicans lose an election, what do? They double down. They triple down. They go, fuck you, no, we were right, you're wrong, and everything we do will be vindicated in the long run, and you'll see, we'll be back. Then they spend the next fucking however many years shitting on the opposition, calling them out directly, saying that they're demonic, right? And sometimes they end up back in power. Whenever Democrats lose an election, it's always like, oh gosh, golly, I need to reevaluate everything I've ever said and everything I ever believe, and in which areas can I find agreement with the other side. Donald Trump is the person least interested in self-analysis. Donald Trump is a guy who said, oh, did I lose? I'm going to bully you relentlessly and bully everybody who disagrees with me even 1%. Why isn't that the takeaway, Gavin? That maybe what we need is a muscular, confident Democratic Party that goes, you don't agree with me? How about you suck my nuts from the back because I'm correct? And sooner or later, you're going to realize that. But even if you don't, I don't really fucking care because I know I'm correct. Okay? What about that? What about a little swagger? What about a little, like, over-the-top bravado and confidence? Because guess what? We actually fucking deserve it. I don't know if you've noticed, but this country is falling to fascism, and Trump is the worst president in U.S. history ever by far, by a million fucking miles. And so, since that's the case, how about a little fucking I told you so? How about a little puff your chest out and like, bro, we warned you. I fucking warned you. I told you. Now let me tell you what the solution is. Now will you listen to me? Now are you ready to hear what the master was saying all along because we were right? Like, this is what drives me crazy, is like the liberal inclination to always like overanalyze, to always be self-critical, to, adjust, give in to bad faith right-wing framing. Like, no, I'm done with these people. Fuck these people. Fuck them with a spiky metal bat, okay? You need to be out there. It needs to be fuck the billionaires, fuck the fascists, fuck the warmongers. No more stupid, illegal, and offensive wars against countries that didn't attack us. Donald Trump is the most corrupt president ever. He needs to be in prison. Elon Musk needs to be in prison. Stephen Miller needs to be in fucking prison. Do I need to go on? You get the point. Fucking concentration camps being built. Lock up the ICE Gestapo thugs. Like, what are we doing? What is this like? I'm campaigning for president, and by that I mean I'm definitely not going to mention trans people. I also don't like this like weird meta thing that Democrats do where it's like they don't just like say what they think. They talk about like, well, here's the proper strategy that a theoretical Democrat who is running, what they should say, what they should do. It's like, what is with this like, I'm withdrawing from the situation and I'm like a third party discussing what the platonic ideal of a strategy is. Like, just say the shit you believe. What is this? Like, what is this approach of, a Democrat who does run should probably be more culturally normal? Like, what is this? What is this? Why aren't you out there saying, hey, motherfucker, Trump just kicked 18 million people off Medicaid. Over 700 rural hospitals might close because of his healthcare cuts. This is at the same time he's giving $40 billion to Argentina, okay? Giving billions of dollars more to Israel so they can keep doing a genocide. I think that money should go to you. I think it should go to your healthcare and your education. I think we should, protect the social safety net and not give away all of our money to psychotic fascists like Javier Milei. Like, just talk about the actual shit. Don't do this weird, withdrawn, like, I'm analyzing from a macro perspective. Like, what is that? Oh, God damn it. If you can't tell, he's really pissing me off. He's really pissing me off. But look, I'll say this. I really think we can do better, and I really think we will do better. I think we will do better. I think he's doing enough now where it sort of feels like, almost like 2008. I know some of you, I'm ancient, so I remember that. But in 2008, when the Republicans had a primary, Rudy Giuliani was leading at the very beginning before any debates or anything like that. He was leading, like, I think by a lot. And so it was viewed as like, oh, he's definitely the guy to beat, and everybody thought he's going to be the one. And then he just, like, as soon as the debates happened, as soon as the primary season actually happened, he just sort of fell off completely. And it's very possible that's not the case with Gavin. It's possible that, like, he's one of the front runners now and he just builds on that and he ends up winning. There's been races like that too, where the person who's leading from early on just leads the whole time and ends up winning. That's possible. But it's also possible the field is wide fucking open, and, he flames out because he's certainly not hitting all the right notes. I can't imagine in a moment like this, where our trans brothers and sisters are under assault, our immigrant community is under assault, black and brown people are under assault, really any just dissidents are under assault. If you disagree with MAGA, you're in their fucking crosshairs, okay? They're murdering people, ICE observers, they're murdering them in the streets. Renee Nicole Good, Alex Preddy. In a moment like this, to say something like this, it is so fucking tone deaf. You should be out there ruthlessly and vigorously condemning all of our minority communities who are good people, who are just trying to live a decent life, take care of their business, and not have the government fucking murder them, okay? That's what you should be doing. Instead, you're like helping to throw these marginalized communities under the bus. It's just so embarrassing. It's just so fucking embarrassing. Jesus Christ. Like, message to all Democrats. Ready? Here's the summation of this segment. Message to all Democrats. Be fucking Democrats. Stop being dinos. Stop being diet MAGA. Stop cucking yourself to always find some areas of agreement with the right way. They're fascists. They're warmonger, imperialist fascists. They're insane people. Fucking wake up and realize that. Actually have some balls and argue for the opposite perspective. That's the way to win, and that's also the way to fix this country, okay?
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.